Hey, friends, I'm Thea Charles, and you are listening to the Push or Pivot podcast. In this series, we discuss the path someone chooses when they are at a crossroads of their life. Do they push through the adversity, or do they stop, reassess, and pivot? This episode, we are talking to Sara Scwedelson, a life coach that has overcome a lot of obstacles and used her experiences to help empower women. So, hello, Sara. I am so excited to have you on tonight. I was reading back up on you, and I found your story to be really interesting, and I was really like, I can't wait to hear some more. So, without further ado, can you introduce yourself to everyone?
Sure. My name is Sara Scwedelson. I am a certified health and life coach, and my niche is dating coach. I'm from New York, if you can't hear in my accent. Um, I live in Brooklyn. I'm from Westchester, so I've been pretty much in the tri-state area my whole life. I guess my time of its pivot or
Yeah, so this is the pusher pivot.
push or
And
pivot.
let me tell you before we get like too far in, since for those who are listening, we use Zoom, and right now the whole world is using Zoom because we're currently locked down in quarantine. So if it gets a little funny, we may have to like pause for a second and then come back. But we'll edit that nicely. But yeah, so this podcast is called the Pusher Pivot, and it's really about um, people at their crossroads, like hearing about other people's crossroads, and then getting to hear how they got through it and what they did, and really just to give everyone like to see the possibility that's out there when you're going through something that's really tough for you.
Yeah.
So what would you say your crossroads was?
So, 3 years ago, actually this summer will be 4,
Mm-hmm.
I had a suicide attempt. It was actually, I was hospitalized 4 times in 2 months for suicidal ideation plans. It was, and eventually an attempt.
Oh,
Um, I did not see any way out, and want to, I just didn't want to continue going if this was how things were going to be.
mm,
It wasn't so much that I wanted it to end. It was just that I wanted it to be different than what it was.
I see.
Um, I had, as soon as I did it, I regretted it, and I've only had a handful of suicidal thoughts since.
I see.
Um, and so now I'm a life coach. I'm a life coach because I tried to end my life.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend suggested it to me, and it resonated with me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, so that's my story. How I got into dating was because while I was getting my life coach certification, I was going through a dating situation. I was seeing this guy. It was only for like, I don't know, a few months. It wasn't something serious. But we were supposed to be exclusive,
Mm-hmm.
and I found out that he had a girl stay over after a night out, which I don't know, like, if that's normal in some people's worlds, but for me, like,
Mm-hmm.
that's not.
Right.
That was just a no.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of was trying to find my place where I wanted to do life coaching, and I sort of made it my mission to make sure that no other woman ever went through something like that again.
Yeah.
Um, so my whole entire, the life coaching, the dating
Uh-huh.
coaching, it's all about things that I went through that I can help people not go through.
I see. I see. When you were, if you don't mind, do you mind if
Yeah,
I ask you a question?
yeah, for sure.
All right. Just want to make sure. Um, when you were going through the thoughts, the suicidal thoughts, and then deciding to become a life coach, like where, like what changed for you?
I think, well, so for me, I had had suicidal thoughts for a really long time.
Okay.
And it was about, it sounds stupid, but, it's
No.
not great, but it was about follow through. I
Mm,
was like, why can't I follow through with what I want? Like,
mhm.
um, and so I did it, and then as soon as I did it, I regretted it. So that was kind of the turning point for me, was doing the follow through and then realizing, oh wait, no,
Right.
I don't actually want that,
Mhm.
and that's not the answer, and there is, it could be different and it could be better,
Right. So
and realizing that like I have the choice and that it's up to me to make it better.
I see. So it's kind of like you realized that you were really in control and that you had power.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And I can see how that could segue into life coaching. What was it like to become a life coach after that?
It's really empowering.
Mm.
I feel like this is what I was meant to be doing.
Mhm.
I never really had like a passion or like a career, or,
Mhm.
I would work like side jobs or office jobs. I never really had something that like spoke to me deeply.
Mhm.
And, the life coaching just, it speaks to me. It's helping people live their best life, helping people change their life, helping people, just helping. I'm a helper. That's what I do, and that feels really empowering.
Yeah, to let people see the possibility and to see that there's something more on the other, like they have choice and they're in power.
Yeah,
Cool. So how so I know you said that you had that relationship that didn't go the way you wanted.
yeah.
What is it that you do to help other women in dating?
So what I do, I very my program that I do, it's not even about date, like it's not about what to do on the date. It's not,
Mhm.
I barely talk about like, I'm not like, do your hair really nice on the second date and
Uh-huh.
talk about this on the third, but no, it's about self-care and self-love and boundaries and trusting your intuition
Mhm.
and how things are in your other areas of your life, because
Mhm.
if like how, let's say like how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Right.
So usually these are across the board issues. They're not, dating is how it presents itself,
Mhm.
but that's not the underlying deeper issue.
Yeah. I can totally see that. Nearly like how RuPaul's like, if you can't love yourself, how do you
Yeah,
love someone else,
exactly.
right? Um, what are some things that you do for yourself for self-care?
I have a homedics massage chair. It's like
Oh,
$100 on Amazon,
cool.
which isn't cheap, but it's
Uh-huh.
also cheaper than going to a regular massage.
Uh-huh.
Like, so I'll sit in that like once a week.
Well, that's fab.
Yeah.
Sounds really good.
It's like a home. It has like these knobs in it
Uh-huh.
that stay on your back, and it's fabulous.
Oh, wow.
Um, and I'll take a bath. I'll light a scented candle, and
Mhm.
I try to make time for that at least once a week.
That's really important.
Yeah.
When I guess, what do I don't know, I guess, like, what do clients say to you once they start working with you?
Um, they'll say like that they didn't necessarily realize that, dating is how the problem presents itself in dating is like actually across the board.
Mhm.
Um, so usually that's an interesting insight that they'll have, that it's like it's not just in dating, it's how they view and see the world, and how they're the story that they're telling themselves, like
Yep.
even for myself as the example, like the
Mhm.
story that I was telling myself, I didn't like it, but you can
Mhm.
change the story in your head and change how you view everything.
Right.
Um, so they'll realize that, like my clients will realize, oh, I can actually just decide to change my story, not just
Mhm.
decide to change the story, but that they have the power to.
Right. The power to make their story theirs.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
they're the author, that they're the one writing the story, that it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be this way. It could be
Mhm.
different.
Yeah, that's a great point, and I'm sure that ties into boundaries, right?
Yeah, so a lot of times, like, boundaries come into play because, so if someone is having a hard time saying no or yes or honoring
Mhm.
their priorities on their calendar, like I have a whole session that's dedicated to like saying yes and no on their calendar,
Yep.
which seemingly like doesn't have to do with the dating, but it does in the sense that like if you know what you want and you know what your values are and you know what your priorities are, you're not going to say yes to anything else.
Mm,
And knowing what you want, like if you know that you want to meet your soulmate and then you end up in like a situationship, you know,
mhm,
like if that's not your goal and you reevaluate and say, okay, that's not actually what I want. What I want is a soulmate. You're not going to stay in the situationship.
right. That's so true.
Yeah.
So, so true.
But it means taking the time to sit there and figure out like what you want and what you know what you're looking for and
Mhm.
how you like you have to sit what are my values, what will it look like, what will this picture look like when I'm with that person.
Mm. How's a way for you to find out what your values are?
um you can like ask yourself what you want in a person. What does your soulmate look like?
Mm,
How will he how will he act? How will he treat you? How will he treat the cleaning lady? How will he treat waiters and waitresses? And that will tell you like your what you really want.
yeah. And I guess I can totally relate to that. Ooh, can you hear me?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can
you said
I can
yeah.
totally relate to that because, like, I could just think about when I met my own husband. It was nearly like he was designed. I had decided I wasn't hanging out with people I didn't feel like hanging out with, and it is true. Like, maybe you don't have the picture of, like, what they look like, but you can, like, feel it.
Yeah, like it's not necessarily about looks, like, oh, he's gonna have green eyes and
Yeah.
brown hair and
Mhm.
whatever, but it could be like how his qualities, his traits. Is he kind? Is he generous? Is he funny? Is he, those type of things.
Mm, wow. This is very helpful. I'm sure someone's taking a
Yeah,
lot from this, for
I'm
sure.
glad.
Um, if you could give somebody one piece of advice, what would it be?
It sounds cliche, but trust your gut always. Your
Mm,
gut intuition knows what's right. And even if, let's say, in hindsight, you're like, oh, I can't believe that I did that, at the time, it was the right thing to do.
mm,
So, like, that's how I, even if I, like, let's say you regret doing something,
mhm,
and like, but at the time, you didn't do something that was you didn't want to do at the time.
got it. It's kind of like it sounds like giving yourself some grace.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I really like that. And
Yeah.
also, like the images that's popping up for me is like it's not looking. It's kind of like learning from the things that you did, and not like I don't know, not feeling bad for things. Like kind of like everything happens for a reason. Like you wouldn't be where you
Exactly.
are right now if what happened before didn't happen.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm a big believer that things do happen for a reason. Um, I also have my faith, and I think that it's important that is helpful
Hmm.
in many areas. You have, not just dating, especially in what can bring people comfort. I find comfort in my faith.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
yeah. This has been so awesome. So, so awesome. If
yeah.
someone wanted to contact you, how can they do that?
So they can email me or check out my website. My website is www.saradawncoaching.com. So that's Sarah with no H, so
Hmm.
SARADAWN coaching.com.
Mhm.
And all my contact information is on there.
Awesome. SarahDawnCoaching.com.
Yeah.
So fabulous. Thank you so, so much for this conversation. And I know that there are women out there that are going to get a lot out of this and just
Thank you
really
so much.
inspired by your story. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you.
What did you take away from Sarah's story? How can you be the author of your life? If you would like to talk to someone at the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, please call 1-800-273-TALK. That's 800-273-8255. Do you have a story to tell about a crossroad in your life? I'd love to hear it. Please contact me on Instagram at pushorpivot or email hello@thearenel.com. That's TheaRenel.com. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe and join me next time on the Push or Pivot podcast.